hopefully this will do, and at least you get a chance to have some practice in this otherwise really challenging time. So we'll jump straight into it. Hopefully it will resemble our normal class enough. Find somewhere in your home that you can have a bit of space, a bit free from distraction if possible, enough physical space to be able to move around your mat. It can just literally be the size of a mat. I'll try and keep us within our mat confines, but try and just switch off from the outside world and just allow yourself this chance of creating a practice which is as close as it can be to coming to a class. So we'll start by just settling in, finding our present moment just as we normally do. So find a comfortable seat, anything that works for you today, and start to close down your eyes or soften your gaze, whatever you feel more comfortable doing. And just start to notice your breath. Before you change your breath or amend it at all, just notice how it feels to start with. Notice whether it comes in and out of the body softly, easily, or whether it's a little bit more fractured, a little bit tense. Often the tense and anxious time like now manifests itself in a shorter breath. So just notice how the breath is serving you today. And then we're going to actually amend our breath and start to deepen it, start to try and cultivate this nice, strong, supportive, deep, restorative breath. So we're going to be drawing in a nice, big, full, deep breath. Really filling up that whole body with fresh oxygen. And then let that breath go. Take another big deep breath in. See if you can make it the deepest breath you've taken all day. And then let that breath go. Try and match the length of your exhale to the length of your inhale. So you're letting that breath go with control, with a steady rhythmic speed. Letting every last little breath go until you can draw in the next. You might instantly feel like your shoulders are starting to settle away from your ears. Maybe your jaw is releasing a bit of tension. Maybe your knees are starting to settle down towards the earth. We'll just take one more big full breath together. And then we're going to crack straight on with some movement. So come into your cat and cow position, so tabletop position. Bring your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, just by feel. Don't get too hung up on the shape, but we want to really be tuning into how the position feels in our body. So we want nice spread fingers, and a nice connection to the earth. And we'll start by opening up the body, lifting the head, dropping the belly down towards the earth as we take a big full breath in. And then as you exhale, draw your belly in towards your spine, round through the back, draw your chin to your chest. Inhaling, opening back out. Exhaling, rounding everything in. Keep anything that connects to the earth firm and strong. You want that connection to be alive, powering up through the body. Allow this movement to be your own. So use this chance to check in with your body, notice how your body feels, any areas of of tension, any areas that need that little extra love, that little extra breath. And keep moving with your breath, so your breathing rhythm, your own personal breath. There's no one here to watch or compare yourself to, so you really can move with your own breath, inhaling and exhaling to support the body. You can bring in as much movement into the hips, into the arms that you feel necessary. And then we're going to find stillness just for a breath or two. Find that connection, that hand to mat connection. And then really find stillness. See if you can just settle the body. Try not to move, try not to alter, try not to rearrange anything. And then we'll tuck our toes and push back to our downward facing dog. So first down dog of practice, you might want to instinctively move the body, just pedal your feet, draw your heels down towards the earth, just allow a little rock back and forth, anything that just feels intuitive, like you really need this to get comfortable in your practice. And then we'll try and find some stillness here. This just gives us a chance to notice truly how the pose feels in our body. Cuts out some of the noise and just notice exactly for this moment, this present moment, how you feel. Then as you start to move again, we're going to enjoy the process of walking to the top of our mat. So don't just hurry there, actually move mindfully, carefully, and find your way into a halfway lift. Nice long through the neck, shoulders draw away from the ears, and then coming all the way up to standing. So we'll find our mountain pose. Bring your feet about hip width apart, hands facing forwards. I was going to say towards me, but it depends where you have your screen. And find that length all the way up through your spine. Really bed into your mat with your feet. Keep that buoyancy, that lift in your knees. And start to draw your shoulders down away from your ears, down the back body. See if you can create that channel of energy running down the back body and that lift up the front body. So your chest is open, your heart is shining forwards, and your back is grounding down towards the earth. Inhale, draw your arms up to the sky. Exhale, dive down, all the way down. If you are tight with space, you can always draw your arms up rather than out. Then roll up into your halfway lift. So any version here, you can bring your fingertips to the mat, your fingertips can come to your legs, or you can come into this airplane version that, as you know, I've just started to love recently. So we're just trying to get as flat a back as we can, as straight a spine as we can. Again, drawing those shoulders away from the ears, nice and long in the neck. Try not to lock your knees. Keep that connection between your feet and the earth strong and powerful. And then exhale, dive back down. Draw your chest in towards your thighs. Release any tension in your neck. And then place your hands and we'll step it out into our plank. So you always have the option to drop your knees. So we can be in a nice supported half plank, or we can be up in our full plank. If you're in full plank, really draw your belly in towards your spine. Keep lifting up through the whole body so that you're not dropping down like this, you're not collapsing. You're not overarching, but you're just nice and straight and supported. Engaging your core, pushing your heels to the back of whichever room you're in. And then when you're ready, we're going to lower ourselves down to the ground. So if you're in halfway plank, you can just chin, chest, rolling down. However you get to the floor, find your belly on the mat and then draw your way up into your mini cobra. Try not to put too much weight into your hands for this first one. We're just easing up into our back bend. Exhale back down. Inhale, draw back up. Nice, easy back bend. And then back down. One more time. This time you can start to put a bit more weight into your hands, drawing up, and then rolling back through into your downward facing dog. Big full breath in, big full breath out. Keep pushing your chest to your thighs. Keep drawing your heels down towards the earth. Fingertips spread nice and wide. Release your neck. Keep breathing. Keep the breath steady and strong. And then we'll make our way up to the top of our mat. Find your halfway lift. Nice flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms come all the way up and down by your sides. Take a moment in your mountain, palms facing me, shoulders down the back body. Shine that heart space, that chest forwards. Big full breath in, big full breath out. Inhale back up. Exhale, diving down. Inhale into your halfway lift. Then step it back into your plank. Any version, drop your knees if you need to. Lower yourself down. You can start to pause at your chaturanga. Inhale into your up dog or your cobra, whichever is in your practice. Then push your way back into your downward facing dog. Big full breath in, big full breath out. Then we'll step forwards or hop forwards or jump forwards if you want to try. Find that halfway lift. Exhale, dive down. Inhale up. Arms down by your side. Inhale up. Enjoy the movement from one pose to the next. Exhale down. Inhale, roll up, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands. If you want an extra challenge, you can start jumping back into your plank. Lower yourself down. Up dog if you want to, or come into your cobra. Push your way back, downward facing dog. As you know, if you've practiced with me before, you know that there's many options for your flow and just really make it your own. Travel through your vinyasa in a way that suits you. Big full breaths. Then we're going to lift our right leg up to the sky. Point those toes. Get really strong in that straight leg. Come up onto your tiptoes and step that foot forwards. And then we'll rise up. Place your back heel down, so we're coming into warrior one. Frame your front foot. Step it back. Travel through your flow. Pushing your way back to your downward facing dog. Big breath in, big breath out. Left leg comes high. push that right heel down to the floor. Come up onto your tiptoes, step your left foot through, and we'll rise up. Let that back heel come down, ground it down. Front knee over ankle, warrior one. Frame that front foot, step it back, travel through your flow. Pushing your way back to your downward facing dog. Again, lift your right leg up to the sky. See if you can draw that left heel a little further down towards the earth. Again, step it through between your hands, but this time we'll drop our back knee down. You can keep your back toes lifted if that's a bit easier on your knee, or you can untuck them if that feels more comfortable, whatever works. As always, you can fold over your mat for a bit of extra padding, or as you're at home, you can grab blankets or cushions or anything to pad under that back knee. We're not going to be here for long. Then bring your left hand down next to your right foot and open up the body, bringing your right hand up towards the sky. Nice gentle twist. Make sure you're not collapsing the body, but you're lifting the pelvis up towards the sky also. Keep lifting, lifting, lifting. Spark energy right up into those fingertips. Then bring that hand back down. Place that hand, lift those, the back knee, and then pick up that front foot. We'll see if we can do it in one go. And step it back. Travel through your flow. Coming into that back bend, any back bend, and then pushing back into your downward facing dog. Left leg reaches to the sky. Nice, straight, strong leg. Step it between your hands. Place that back knee down. When you're ready, bring your right hand and lift your left arm up to the sky. Keep drawing your belly in towards your spine. You'll create a little bit more space to come into a twist. Then place that hand back down. See if you can do it in one go. Lift that back knee, lift that front foot back, travel through your flow. Nice full breath in your down dog. And then with this time, we'll step our right foot all the way through. If you're struggling with getting forwards like this, you can come right up onto those tiptoes and see if lifting and drawing that knee up gives you a bit of extra space. In a way, it's almost harder, but it worked for some of you last week in class, so we'll give it a go. Then when you're ready, we're going to rise up into our crescent lunge. So as always, go as wide as you need to here, because we need a bit of stability. Right up high on those back toes. Draw your belly into the spine. If you feel at all uncomfortable in your lower back, just bend that back knee, give yourself a bit more space. I'm not there to see how you look or feel in each pose, so always a little bit more on the side of caution when you're practicing at home. Really tune in and listen to how it feels in your body, because you're the one who knows best. Then when we take our next inhale, see if you can lift the arms a little higher, and then on your exhale, open out into your warrior two. Take up as much space here as you can. So we want that front heel to run into the arch of our back foot. Lift through both inner arches. Spread those fingertips really wide. Relax your shoulders. Then bring both arms forwards. we're going to trust our balance a little bit and dive forwards into our warrior three. Try and even back out the hips, reaching forwards as much as you can, kicking back as much as you can. And then we trust ourselves as we slowly lower our hands down towards the floor. I'm going to run out of space. That might happen to you too. Slowly bring your hands down to the floor and kick that top leg up as high as it will go. We want to be really strong in our standing leg, so you're powering that standing leg as much as you can, drawing your chest in towards the leg, the standing leg. If you fancy challenging your balance, bring one or maybe two hands to your ankle for one more breath. Then slowly trust your way down and open back out into your warrior two. It should burn in that front thigh. Just because I'm not there doesn't mean that you can slack off. You want to be feeling that burning. Then we'll reverse that warrior back. Big full breath. Then all the way forwards into your extended side angle. So bringing your hand into the inside of that front leg, feet still in warrior two, fingertips reaching far apart, keeping that chest open, that heart space open and broad. Keep drawing the breath into the body. If you want to bind, you can let that lower arm come round, that top arm reaching back. But if you are binding, really make sure that you're drawing as much space into the chest as you can, so that top shoulder's coming back. You can bring your gaze up if that feels good. And then if you're binding, unbind. We'll all meet back here. And then bring your hands either side of your front foot. Step that front foot back. Travel through your flow. So lowering down, coming into your back bend, strong in your legs. Pushing back to your downward facing dog. So if that's confused you that I'm now facing the other way, it was just so that you could see the pose a little better. So I'll go back to being the other way now. Keep breathing into your down dog. And then we'll step our left foot forwards. We'll rise up into our crescent lunge. Again, give yourself plenty of space. Sometimes it's really easy to step quite far forwards. So like now I feel a bit long, like I'm a bit stretched. So I can adjust by just shortening my stance and bringing it a little bit wider. Keep drawing that belly in. You're long in the body, your fingertips are reaching up. Now on your next inhale, see if you can grow a little taller, stretch through that back leg onto those tiptoes, and then exhale, open out into your warrior two. Lift through those inner arches, take up as much space as you can. You're a warrior, you're strong. Shoulders relax. Then bring your hands forwards. We're going to prep our balance for our warrior three. So we're launching our way forwards. Leg comes up high. The stronger this back leg is, the more you kick it back, the more stable you'll feel. Keep drawing your belly in towards your spine. Let that pelvis neutralize. Shoulders draw away from your ears. Then again, I run out of space. Then we'll come down into our standing splits. So slowly guide your fingertips down to the floor. Keep lifting that back leg up as high as you can, drawing your chest in towards that straight standing leg. If you want to bring your hand to your ankle, you can. Keep breathing. I know it hurts the standing leg, but keep breathing. One more breath. And then we'll slowly trust our way back into our warrior two. You can relax that thigh, that front thigh. We'll reverse that warrior and come all the way forwards into your extended side angle. So if you're going to bind, take a bit of time to find the length first. So you're stretching up, you're making use of that wingspan. And then if you want to bind, you can go for it. Again, keeping that chest open as much as you can, gazing up. If that feels uncomfortable in your neck, just gaze down to the floor. And then we'll unbind and all meet in our extended side angle traditional. Then frame that front foot, step that foot back and travel through your flow. Again, your version, any way you want to make your way to the floor or into your chaturanga. Come into your back bend, keep drawing your shoulders away from your ears. And then push your way back to your downward facing dog. Now we're going to take 3 breaths in our down dog. If it's more restorative for you to come into child's pose, bring your big toes together, your knees out wide, and reach those fingers forwards. Then we'll tuck our toes and we'll all meet in our downward facing dog. So you could either have stayed in your down dog breathing for that time, or you can just meet there now. And then we're going to lift our right leg up to the sky, stack your hips on top of one another, so opening up through the hips. And then guide that knee forwards into your pigeon pose. So this pigeon, take as much time as you can to set up and to really, really tune into how it feels in your body. If there's any discomfort, then take a step back from this pose, because we really don't want to be working uncomfortably into our front knee. So come nice and wide, give yourself plenty of space, glance back, check that your hip, your knee, your ankle are in one straight line. The closer the more parallel this front shin is to the front of your mat, the harder it will be. So you can tuck your foot into your body as much as you need to. There's no cheating. I know someone said the other day in class, oh, I don't think I'm doing it very well. Every version is doing it well, it's just working with your own body. So once you feel that you're in a reasonable position, that you're working your hip but you're not hurting your knee, and you can maintain it for a few moments, then you might want to come down onto your elbows or even all the way down onto your forehead. Now, because you're at home, you might have a cushion handy, so if you're feeling that you need a little extra padding under that hip, then you can do that and then come down. That's completely fine. Or you might feel that you want that padding here to sort of hug. That's also fine. If you're really collapsing to one side, then I do recommend trying to pad underneath that hip so that your hips are, or your pelvis is as straight as it can be. And then when you're ready, really melt down into whichever version of the pose you're going for. Take your time to notice how you feel in your upper body. You want to really release that upper body, surrender it down into the earth. Tune into your breath. Keep sending the fresh breath to your hip. We're just for another 3 breaths. So take your time. Then when you're ready, slowly come back up onto your hands if you weren't there already. And allow the weight to just come onto the right hip, the right thigh, and swing that back leg round, all the way around. And step it over. So you can keep facing, but I'm just going to face you for ease so that you can see what I'm doing. We're going to come into Gomukhasana. Lots of you will know exactly where we're going. But for those of you not so familiar, we're going to attempt to stack our knees on top of one another, drawing our feet out nice and wide. So this looks really, really different in everybody's body. You want to have a fairly even seat, so you've got weight on both bum cheeks. So if this is really impossible to have it looking like my knees do, then the bottom leg can always come out straight, and you can keep working on having that top knee stacked on top of the other one. And even if your knee is miles away from the other knee, that's great. You just keep working towards the knees towards one another. Keep working that foot away from the body. If you're managing to cross your legs, then you can just keep adjusting, keep working the feet away, keep stacking those knees on top of one another. Every time that we do this practice, we're getting a little bit closer to the version that we are aiming for. So sit up nice and straight in the spine, and take a second to notice how this feels in the hips. If you feel that you can go a little bit deeper, then you can start to lean forwards, and that will increase the intensity in the hips. I often find that I get a bit uncomfortable in my ankles in this pose, so you can always double up your mat and put a little bit of padding underneath your ankles. Then straighten back up. Everybody straighten that bottom leg, it might already be. And then you can just work that top leg so that the foot is flat on the mat. So we should have our left knee on top, the left knee bent. Don't worry if it's not. If you've done the other side, it's no problem. Just remember so that you do the opposite side next time. And then reach up with your right arm. Reach up as tall as you can. Create as much space, as much length as you can in your spine. And then start to twist. But we want to twist from our hips. So imagine that your belly button is trying to work to the outside of that thigh. So you're twisting, turning, 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 turning. And then you can start to hook that elbow onto your knee and start working all the way up through the spine, twisting as you go, twisting, twisting, twisting. I will just say that if anyone is pregnant, then this deep twist is not a good one. I know normally there isn't, but I have opened this up to a few friends as well. So if that is the case, if you're avoiding closed twists, then you can always have an open twist. So that's where you follow the line of the body and you open up the body rather than closing across. Then come all the way around, bring your hands all the way around and just place them down on the mat so that you can counter the twist. Then come back to center and we'll just bring the soles of our feet together. This is always, I think, a nice opportunity to give your feet a nice little rub, a little massage, especially if you've been out walking at 2 meters apart from another person, of course, or on your feet quite a lot all day, maybe cooking, standing at the hob or cleaning. Anything that's put extra pressure on your feet in your day. And then just let your knees come down towards the mat as much as you can. Let them melt, let gravity do the work here. Try not to collapse into your upper back, but keep some integrity in the spine. And then we'll unfold and make our way, however you want to get there, make your way into your downward facing dog. Come right up onto your tiptoes. Let both heels drop to one side, stretching down through the side body. Then come up onto your tiptoes again, drop your heels to the other side. Again, feeling that stretch down the side body. Then come back up, let both heels sink down towards the mat. Pedal your feet and just notice one side of the body to the other. So we've worked into our right hip but not into our left. Or some of you might have done the opposite. Then we're going to lift our left leg up. Point those toes and then stack your hips on top of one another, bending your knee, opening up through the front of the hip. And then drawing that knee forwards into your pigeon. So when you set up for your pigeon on this side, just be really mindful that the hips are really not symmetrical in your body. And just because it looked a certain way or felt a certain way on one side, you're not necessarily going to be in that exact same position. Maybe you'll be deeper into the pose, maybe you'll need to take a modification. Any of these are possible. So look back, check that your ankle, your knee, your hip are in one line. And then try and straighten off the hips as much as you can, melting that pelvis down towards the floor, and padding out that hip if you need it with a pillow, or if you have blocks or yoga props, and you can use them. So I'll just say that if anyone's really struggling with your knee in this pose, you can come onto your back at any point. This is just a modification for those who are struggling. And you can bring your ankle to your knee, feed your hand through and draw your thigh into your chest. So we are working to the hip the exact same way, but it's just a little bit more gentle for those who need it. So when you're ready to just completely surrender your upper body down towards the floor, then do so. Checking in with the breath. Trying to use the breath to bring fresh oxygen to the hip. Keeping the breath strong and steady. If at any point you feel like you can take the pose a little deeper, you can. You can always tuck your back toes and just walk your thigh back a little bit, allowing your hips to melt down towards the earth a bit more. Or maybe you can walk your hands forwards and surrender your upper body down a little bit more. Slowly come back up onto your hands wherever you are, and really gently, really mindfully moving, let that weight come onto the left hip and draw your right leg all the way around, seeing if you can step it round into your Gomukhasana. Again, if you need to, you can try and see whether you can stack your knees with both knees bent to to start with, but if it's not looking possible, then straighten that bottom leg. Find as much length as you can, and then if you want to, you can start to forward fold. Try to be mindful of producing extra tension in your jaw. Often when we bring our head down to sort of heart height, then we straight away start to tense in our jaw a little bit, clench our teeth a little bit as we lower our head down. Same goes for your shoulders. They start to naturally draw up towards the ear as we hold the weight, as we brace the body a little bit. So just soften through the upper body as you lower down. Then start to straighten up the body. Find that length back in the spine. And then we can come into the twist on the other side. So straighten that bottom leg if it's not already straight. So this time the right foot, the right knee should be on top. And we start by reaching up to the sky with that left hand, finding as much length as you can in the spine. So you want your pelvis, your seat, to be rooted down into the earth as much as you can, as if you've got strings drawing you down towards the earth, but then the top of your head is lifting up. So you're being stretched, pulled apart, and then you're turning your pelvis, twisting as much as you can from the base of your spine, as much as you can, and then you can hook that elbow over, keep working into the twist. So although we have our hand behind us to support us, we're not yanking our body into an uncomfortably deep twist. We're actually trying to use our spine to work into the pose, but you can encourage a little bit extra twist with this elbow to knee connection. Keep drawing your shoulder, your right shoulder back and round. Keep the breath deep. Every inhale you might feel like you can get a little bit taller, like you can extend that spine a little bit extra, and any extension of the spine will allow you a little bit more space to melt into the twist. As you exhale, you can just feel the body surrender into the twist. Then come all the way around, place your hands on your mat for a counter twist. And then we'll come back to neutral. This time bring the soles of your feet together, but see if you can draw your feet away from the body a little bit more. So you're creating a bit more of a diamond shape. Nice and long in the spine, active in the legs. Okay, then bring your knees together, and we're going to jump back up onto our feet. So you can be anywhere on your mat for this. You can be at the top of your mat or about centre point. If you need to adjust where your screen is at any point, then obviously you can do that. So bring your feet about hip width apart. Just lift up a little bit through your inner arches so that you're shifting that weight nice and evenly through your feet. You can just rock back and forth onto your tiptoes, into your heels. Just play with your weight distribution a bit. Notice how you feel in your feet, in your body today, whether you feel quite stable, balanced. You know where I'm going. And then draw your shoulders down your back. Bring the palms of your hands to face forwards. Close down your eyes just for a breath. Just to check in with that breath again. We're moving into a couple of balance poses, so we want to give ourselves the opportunity to start right, to find our inner balance before we begin. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into tree pose. So any version is perfect. If you're feeling off balance and you need to have your big toe on the mat, then just work there. Again, you're at home, you have a whole home worth of props. You can bring a chair and just hold onto a chair, or come close to a wall and just hold on to the wall if you need that extra balance. But do try without if you can. And then so either have your big toe on the mat or have the sole of your foot at your shin or your lower part of your leg, or come right up into your thigh or into the upper part of your leg, but just avoid the knee. Never push your foot into the knee. A lot of people try to get above the shin and try to go to the thigh but don't quite make it. So it's safer to just stay lower, because that extra pressure in the knee is a no-go. So if you can come all the way up, then do. Whichever version is completely fine. But then we'll come in with our hands, we'll come into a version of tree that suits you best. So you might want to come into your namaste position, your heart center. You might want to grow the tree so you have your arms out wide. For some, this is really good for balance. You might want to bring your hands into prayer position behind you. Those who know me know that I find that really hard. The more you push into your standing leg with your foot, the more you need to push your standing leg into the foot and the foot into the standing leg, if that makes sense. So you're pushing evenly, you're not just pushing one way or the other. Slow the breath down. Notice if you've held your breath completely. And if you want a little extra challenge, ooh, I want wobbly, hold your breath. Hold your breath. No, don't hold your breath. Close your eyes. Okay, then we're going to, without letting that foot back down to the earth, unless it's already there, we're going to bring that leg out in front of us. So if it is down at the floor, then you can just reach forwards with the foot and just keep trying to lift that foot away from the floor. But otherwise, we're going to bring that leg right out in front of us. Draw it forwards as much as you can. Now the next advanced stage of this is if you can grab hold of that big toe and reach out, then do that. If you can't, don't worry, that's just an added extra. Then from wherever you are, we're going to draw that leg out. You can bend the knee, so you're just drawing out with the knee rather than the foot, if that's easier. If you're holding on to that big toe, you can either be coming out or you can again bend the knee and just work into the hip. So we're just opening up the hip. Wherever you are, we're opening up the hip. Might be right down here, might be up here. This arm's just out here for balance. Okay, then slowly come back to center. Hug that knee in one last time, big hug, and then place it back down. Shake your standing leg off. It might be burning a little bit. Okay, then come back to center. Give yourself a moment to feel centered, to feel balanced. You can play with that, rocking back and forth, noticing where the balance is, where that balance point feels today. Sometimes you have days where you're just off balance right from the start, so it's good to just know what we're working with, what our starting point is. And when you're ready, we'll work into tree pose on this side. So again, any version applies. Anywhere that you feel is the right place for you today. And it doesn't have to be the same as it was on the other side. Your balance, your physical balance, is often a really good indicator as to how balanced you feel in your mind at any given time. So it wouldn't be a surprise to me if some of you feel a little bit more off balance now at this strained, unusual time. So no hard feelings towards yourself if you do. out of the pose, just come back in. Try to notice how you respond and you react in your mind. Notice whether you are unkind to yourself or whether you become frustrated or whether you're able to just laugh and shrug it off and try again and keep working towards your goal. Okay, then we're going to come into our next version, so bringing that leg straight out in front of us, or maybe grabbing that big toe and stretching the leg out in front of you. Trying to power up with that standing leg as much as you can, and then opening the hip, so maybe bending the knee and opening the hip, or maybe bringing your hand to guide your hip open. Maybe straightening that leg out if you can. Woo. Then come back to the midpoint. Hug that knee in towards your chest for one last chance. Then come back down, shake it all off. Whew. And then we bring our arms up, big stretch up. Enjoy this last standing stretch. And then exhale all the way down, dive down. Come up into your halfway lift. Nice flat back, straight spine, long neck. Place your hands, step it back into your plank. Then work your way down to the mat or to your chaturanga. Big breath as you back bend. Draw your belly in, straight legs. Push your way back to your downward facing dog. Tilt those sit bones right up to the sky. Keep drawing your chest to your thighs. Then look forwards, and we're going to see if we can jump through by hopping up to the top of our mat, crossing our ankles and sitting down. Then bring your legs out long in front of you. Give them a little shake off. Draw those heels away. Just conscious that you probably can't see my legs where I am. So draw your heels away from you as much as you can. And we're going to just come into a forward bend. So pushing your heels away, keeping your legs straight, reach your arms up high and start to tilt forwards. Drawing your body forwards as much as you can before coming down. So we're hinging from our hips. We're as straight and as long and as tall as we can be in our upper body. And then we're tipping, 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 tipping until we start to round through the spine. And then you can just relax into your forward fold. Keep the legs strong, even though you're relaxed, you're keeping that strength there, that power running through the body. Every time you inhale, see if you can get a little bit longer in the spine. Every time you exhale, see if you can melt into that space that you just created by getting a bit longer. Then slowly come back up, and then we'll bring our legs nice and wide. You can come out as wide as you can. Some of you will be able to come really wide and go flat onto the floor. That is not my body shape. I'm just mindful of being off camera, so I'm just going to come to this shape for now. Again, the same applies. You want to be reaching forwards with your upper body, reaching up and forwards. So we're not just sort of rounding through the spine and going forwards like this. We're getting nice and tall and straight and then coming forwards. If at any point you start to feel that the integrity in your spine is lost, then just step it back a little bit and come back to that place of strength in the spine. Keep pushing those heels away from your body. Then come back up to seated. Okay, now place your feet And we're going to lower ourselves back down to our mat, but before we do that, we're going to try and make this transition down to the floor really count. So we're coming to our boat pose. So if you're feeling at all weak or unsupported in your lower back or your spine or your core, then bring your toes just to the mat and just stay there. But if you can bring your toes up, then you can just hold onto your thighs and start to engage your core. If you can take it a step further and bring your hands out, then do. So wherever you are, whether you're hugging onto your legs for dear life, or whether you're out here, or whether your feet are down here, we're going to slowly start to work our way down onto the mat. So really gently transitioning our way onto the floor. Well done. Okay, now bring your soles of your feet up to connect to the mat, so your knees are pointing up towards the sky. See if you can get your lower back nice and flush with the mat, with the floor. And we won't stay here too long, but we'll just work a nice couple of rounds of breath into our back bends. So we're just going to lift up our hips. Keep lifting your hips up towards the sky. Try and keep your neck nice and straight. Don't look from side to side too much. And just keep lifting your hips up towards the sky, tilting your pelvis a little bit towards your chin. But keep pushing your shins away from your body. And then as you exhale, slowly lower your hips back down. As you inhale, lift back up, rise back up. As you exhale, slowly lower back down. We'll just do one more. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower back down. Then walk your feet to the side of your mat, so they're about mat width apart, and just let your knees knock together. Bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. Now if you have something, a burning urge, desire to come into a specific pose, then you can always pause the video, take this opportunity to bring something else into your practice that you need, maybe an inversion. If you're working on a headstand or handstand, then you can have a practice of that. Or if you just want to do a shoulder stand, then that's also amazing. Anything that you feel called to do at this point in practice, then go for it. If you're happy to start working towards your Shavasana, then we're going to just start to slow down the breath and bring the soles of your feet together and just let your knees come out nice and wide. And just settle the spine nice and easy on the mat. Then slowly start to work your hands down towards your feet. Bring your knees down in towards your armpits and come into Happy Baby. So we're aiming for a nice flat, straight spine, the whole of your spine connecting to the earth. And you can just rock from side to side, coming right into that side body. And then place your feet back down. Again, if you feel that you need a twist or any extra stretch, then go for it. But otherwise, find your Shavasana. Pause the video and run and get a blanket or some cushions or anything that you need, but please don't skip Shavasana. It's always, I think, the thing in home practice that people just completely go, okay, I've done my practice now, I'm going to skip Shavasana. But you are then leaving your practice without giving your body this chance to come out of fight and flight mode, to slow down your central nervous system. You want that opportunity to really come into a restful, calming state before you go about the rest of your day, especially now when there's an extra level of anxiety in all of our lives. So give yourself as much time as you can. I'm going to actually just lie in Shavasana myself and stay for a couple of minutes, so at least stay for as long as I'm in Shavasana, but you can also pause and have an extra long Shavasana if you want to. So when you have got your warm bits back on, your socks, your blanket, then find the position that serves you best for your Shavasana. Give yourself plenty of space. Bring your arms out nice and wide. Let your feet come out to the side. And just relax your whole body. Let your jaw completely relax away. And just settle into your final rest pose. Start to notice the sounds around you. Start to bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your body. And just allow a little bit of movement into your fingers and into your toes. When you feel ready, start to roll over onto your right side. And just take a nice full breath here. And then make your way up into your comfortable seat. So back where we started, back into a nice comfortable seat, any comfortable seat. Then bring your hands together at heart center. Take a nice big full breath in. And a nice big full breath out. And take a moment of gratitude for finding a time in your day to practice yoga. It is always harder to do it at home. So really well done for making the time for yourself. It's particularly important at times like this. Then we'll lift our arms up high above us. Bring your hands together up above your head. Then slowly guide your hands down through that center line. Just resting your thumbs at your third eye. Taking in another breath. And then slowly exhaling your hands back down to heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis. Feedback would be greatly appreciated, so please let me know how you got on. If you've got any questions, really don't hesitate to contact me in any way that you know how. I hope that everyone is safe and well. Sorry if you heard Alfie and Tom at the end of that video, but I hope that we can all be back together again soon. But until then, these videos will keep on coming if you are appreciating them, so just let me know. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Have a good rest of your day.